Hello YouTube, welcome back. It's FX here and I'm back, guys. I'm back. I know it's been a while. I think I took like a month. I didn't post for like 34 days. I was checking on my YouTube data analytics, on my YouTube analytics. So I think it was about 34 days that I didn't post. So welcome back, guys. FX is here, right? So I'm back with another weekly outlook. I hope you guys, we're just having a good time, I hope you guys had a nice August. We just got into September, so I hope you guys are also having a great month. For me, it's been a busy and I should say a good month, right? I actually ended up, as I showed you guys on the previous videos, that I was funded with like Alpha, funded next, and you guys can see right here on the right, I actually got paid from funded next. But this will actually, I'll do a breakdown on a trade that I will talk also about the funded next with more details on the next video, so stay tuned for that. So for today, guys, we're just gonna do the regular stuff. We're gonna break down what are the intentions that we have for the next week, for the upcoming week. The trading, the markets have been a little bit weak lately. I think the month of August, usually August and September tend to be one of the slowest months of the year. I think if you Google it, right here, you guys can see on the right, I actually checked on Google. Usually they say August and September, they tend to be the months of low volume in the markets. So, but anyways, I think sometimes it depends on each strategy, right? Because sometimes you can trade your own strategy, have good results in August and February. So I believe it's subjective, right? So without taking too much time, guys, let's hop right into the outlook. We're gonna start as always with Euro USD. Euro USD, we can look. Let's start from the weekly time frame real quick. Looking at the weekly time frame, we can see that on the weekly, basically, let me just zoom in. So on the weekly, everything is bearish. Price came to a monthly supply zone. We had this nice weekly change of character to the downside. Price came into the weekly supply zone. Now, when price comes to my weekly, this actually, the whole weekly supply zone is this one. But I ended up refining this point of interest to the daily time frame. So because this is a daily supply, or let me say daily refined supply mitigation, I can just drop down to the hourly time frame. It can be 4 hour, 2 hour time frame. So once price arrived to that daily refined point of interest, I ended up dropping to 4 hour time frame. So looking at the 4 hour, we can see that at first I was waiting for change of character right here. So price, we had this high, we had this low, then this high. So we had a nice change of character. Price came back, mitigated that 4 hour supply zone. So this is the chalk point of interest mitigation. We have the second break of structure on the 4 hour, and price just came into this 4 hour supply zone. This I think I refined on the 1 hour time frame exactly. So I ended up picking somewhere this zone right here. This actually should have been the whole point of interest. So this is basically the 4 hour point of interest mitigation. And as you guys know, when price comes to my 4 hour, I always drop down to medium time frame. So I see sometimes price comes to 4 hour and people drop down to lower time frames. But a lot of the times, you can see right here, the 4 hour time frame, the point of interest range is huge. So I would always recommend people to, once price comes to your 4 hour, wait for M15 or M30 change of character. That's gonna be a much better confirmation for the lower time frame entries. So once price came to my hourly supply zone, I dropped down to M30, right? So we can drop down to M30 time frame, or it can be M15 as well, no problem. So I think I came to M15, and we can see that when price came here, we had this push to the downside, then price swept the previous high. We can see price even failed to close above. So when you see price actually struggling to go above, that's the sign that the bullish sentiment in the market is in depletion and sellers are about to take over the markets, right? So we had this beautiful change of character. Now, this right here is the point of exhaustion. of buyers, right? The buyers exhaustion. That's when buyers lost strength, and then we had this V-shaped recovery. That's why we had the buy and immediately this strong sell candle. So this right here is the point of interest that I'm looking at. I think I refined this on the M5. Yeah, exactly. So this is the M5 supply zone right here. So I refined to this one. We have a little bit of imbalance. So I'm expecting price to come towards this point of interest. Now, what you can do is you can set a limit order right here and, just set a sell limit. There is no problem. You can put a sell limit right here and a stop loss above. You can do like a 9 pip stop loss. I think it gives a nice buffer. Or you can, wait for price to come and go to 1 minute time frame, wait for a change of candle. That's going to be another layer of confirmation which can make your trades high probability. So that's basically what I'll be waiting, for price to do. Once price comes back, I'll drop down to 1 minute and then we'll take the trade, right? So that's it for Euro USD. Let's move to the next pair. Our next pair is Aussie dollar. Let's quickly look at the weekly time frame. If we look at what's going on, weekly is absolutely bearish. We had a break, mitigation, then we had this internal price action right here where we had the break of structure, mitigation, second break, mitigation. Now price came to this refined weekly supply zone. If we drop down to the daily time frame, what I'm looking at is this daily supply zone mitigation, because price came to the weekly, had this daily change of character and came right into the extreme daily supply zone. So once price comes to my daily, what I do is I drop down to the hourly time frame. So we can drop down, for example, to 2 hours time frame. And we're going to see something quite interesting that's going on is we have this beautiful bearish chain, guys. You can see right here, we have a change of character, mitigation, second break of structure, mitigation, and then third break of structure, mitigation. So we just have that bearish chain right there. Price just, breaking, violating the lows, protecting the highs. So we can see that the bears right here are taking control right here. So this is the hourly supply zone. You guys already know once price comes to my hourly, it can be 4 hours or 2 hours. I drop down to medium time frame, which is M15 or M30. It can be M20 as well if you have the pro subscription. So let me drop down to M15. So when you come to M15, what you're going to see is this. We had the high, the low, the high. So we want to see a change of character. Price gave us change of character, came back, mitigated. I have a second break of structure, which confirms bearish order flow. So what I'm waiting for is to see price continue to push down, taking out these lows and push all the way down to that daily previous low. So right here, what I'm gonna be doing, I don't think I'm still gonna look for entries right here, maybe when the market opens, but I would just look for lower time frame selling opportunities right here, or just basically wait for price to calm down and give another M15 break of structure and look for entries. But right now, for me, it's time to look for sales on the lower time frame right here on Aussie dollar, because medium time frame already gave the sign, right? Because everything is bearish, so I should be bearish on the lower time frame as well. Okay, so that's simple as that. Let's move to the next pair. Our next pair is GU. GU also, let's look at the weekly supply zone, what's going on in the weekly. Price actually came to this I should say it's a monthly supply zone, right? So we had this nice break, mitigation, second break of structure, price came into this whole zone. This is an area right here. This is the supply zone. So what I did is I went down to daily time frame. So on the daily, what I'm seeing is quite interesting on GU, because if you look at the structure, price came into a monthly supply zone. That's why it had this reaction. But when you look at the daily structure is still bullish. But the daily is doing a pullback towards this supply zone. That's the outlook basically. We're expecting price to continue to push all the way down into this daily demand zone, and then we're gonna see if this demand zone is gonna hold or price will just create a daily change of character. So on the daily, the structure is still bullish. So the question is, what will give me the sign that this daily is about to have a pullback? We have to drop down to the hourly time frame and wait for the structure shift from bullish to bearish. So when the structure is bearish on the hourly, that is already telling us that the daily is having a pullback. So let me drop down, for example, to, it can be 4 hour, that we can look at. So let me just, here we are on the 4 hour, and we can clearly see we had a high, we had a low, and then we had this high. So we have a nice change of character. Boom, price came back to mitigate the supply zone. Then we have a second break of structure. Price just came back. So you guys can see the consistency of this, mitigation play right here, always in the markets. This has been for years in the markets, right? It's very consistent. So price came back to this 4 hour supply zone. What am I looking for? Medium time frame. You guys already know when price comes to 4 hour, always drop down to medium time frame. It can be M15 or M30. So let me drop down to M20, for example. It's also very valid. If we look right here, what happened is price swept the previous high right here, and then now it's making its way all the way down. What I'm waiting for on GU is for price to take out this low. I want to see a violation of this low and a break below, right? So if price breaks, for example, if let's say market opens, price breaks below, I'm gonna be looking at this supply zone right here. I'm gonna wait for price to come back, and then I'm gonna look for sales and sell all the way down. Okay, so that's it about GU. Next pair. So our next pair is going to be New Zealand dollar, and also let's quickly look at the weekly time frame. Let's understand the overall intention. And if we look at it, New Zealand dollar is absolutely bearish. We had a break, mitigation, second break, mitigation, and now we're having this internal price action within this range, high and low. So what do we do next? Drop down to the daily time frame. So here we are on the daily time frame. So if you look at what's going on, is price came into that supply, gave a change of character, but he hadn't mitigated right here. So basically just pulled back a little bit, kept dropping, but it was just building all this liquidity. So right here, this right here is liquidity right here. The price was just building up. That's why it came here, and then boom, swept out that liquidity, came to this unmitigated supply zone that now is mitigated. So this is a daily supply mitigation. What do we do next? We drop down to hourly time frame. Always, guys, always. Very consistent stuff. When we come to 4 hour, what do we see? Change of character. So price came here with high, low, high. Change of character, mitigation, which means that the first intention was set, price mitigated, and then we had a confirmation of structure shift. So here we have the two breaks of structures on 4 hour. What am I waiting for? Actually, I'm waiting for price to come inside this supply zone right here, and then we have a sell to the downside. Now, some people may say, well, sometimes price can mitigate the imbalance. Yes, so far it mitigated this imbalance, and we can see the reaction. Now it's pushing down. But this can be inducement also. Price can just pull back a little bit and then push up inside the supply zone, and then we have the continuation to the downside. So I'm gonna still keep my hopes that price will come into the supply zone, and then I'm gonna look for sales. Simple as that, guys. Next pair. Our next pair today is going to be a different one, and it's going to be UJ. I saw some people that asked me to do a breakdown on UJ. I mean, the reason why I wasn't doing breakdowns on UJ for a while is because UJ just wasn't clear. Especially on the daily and 4 hour. For me, it just wasn't clear. I wasn't trading UJ for months. So that's why I wasn't doing a breakdown on this one. But if we look at what's going on the weekly, I believe anyone can see that the whole intention is bullish, right? We had a break, mitigation, second break of structure. Now you can use the fib from this low all the way to this high right here. And you can see the price went below 50%, which is a 61.8, what we call the golden zone. I'm still waiting for price to come to this supply zone, which is at 78.6. That's the golden, diamond zone, if you want to call it. So I'm waiting for price to come into this supply zone right here on UJ. I believe that's when most orders are going to be filled to push price all the way to the upside. It's very, very consistent in the markets. So this is the demand zone that I'm waiting for price to come into this demand zone. And this is on the weekly. So what I'm going to do is say, okay, price haven't tapped at this demand zone yet. So what can we do? Okay, let's drop down to 4 hour time frame. And let's see what's going on the 4 hour. And maybe I'll have to use the 2 hour time frame on this one. So if we look at 2 hours, it's very clear to see the structure here. We can see that we had this low, the high, and then price broke structure. We had this break, price came back to mitigate. Then we had this second break of structure, price came back to mitigate the supply zone. We had this break of structure, and now we expect price to pull back all the way into this supply zone, and then we have a sell to the downside. So once price come to this zone, I'll drop to M15 time frame. I'll drop to M15 time frame and then lower time frame and look for sales, right? So that's what I would basically recommend, is wait for price to come back here and then drop down to M15. Wait for M15 change of character, and that's all you need, right? Before you drop down to lower time frame. So it's very, very clear with you, Jay, so far. So basically, we just want to sell from this supply zone all the way into this weekly demand zone. Okay, so once price comes to this weekly, so let me just quickly go back to weekly. Once price comes to this weekly demand zone, that's when we're gonna be looking for daily change of character to the upside, so we can buy all the way up towards that weekly previous high. Okay, simple, simple, simple as that. So let's go to the last pair. So our last pair, as always, is the greatest and the great shower USD, gold. Okay, so I mean, gold is just hitting all-time highs this 2024. I mean, gold is really crazy, you know. And gold actually is a very interesting pair. If you really look deep into it, you will understand why gold is one of the most respected pairs. It really does pay. You just need to understand the pair, how it moves. It's very consistent if you really, if you really take your time with gold. And it's a very, very, very good pair, right? So the next video, actually, that I will do a breakdown on a trade that I took just a couple weeks ago. It was also in trade on gold that I also called on the private mentorship. It was a beautiful one. I'll do a breakdown on that where I'll talk also about the prop firm stuff. So just looking at the gold, the daily time frame, anybody can see that the overall intention is bullish right here, right? Price just hitting all-time high. So we had a break of structure, mitigation, break of structure, mitigation, and then break of structure. We had this mitigation at this supply zone, and then boom, another break of structure. So gold is just hitting all-time highs right here. So looking at the 4 hour, just coming down to 4 hour, what I'll be waiting for? Well, I'm looking into these zones. This will be the first zone that I will want to see some sort of reaction. But if I go back to the daily time frame, for example, I believe eventually, maybe in the future, price might want to come towards this demand zone right here. And he may use these lows right here as inducement for price to just pull back all the way down here. And then we have that major continuation to the upside. That's just ideas. That's just, forecasts. So basically, if I go down to 4 hour time frame, that's basically the zone that I'm looking at. I want to see at least the first reaction into this zone. Now, what should we do about gold right now? Because I know a lot of people are confused. They don't know what to do with gold. Gold is just pushing up. They don't know when this bullish run is going to stop. This right here, sorry, if you look at the 4 hour, price is bullish right here. There is no doubt about that. But the question is, that you have to ask yourself is, what will tell me that the 4 hour is ready for a pullback? Is the medium time frame. Is your M30 and M15. When you see the structure shift from bullish to bearish, just know that price is about to do, most likely is about to do a complete pullback towards these demand zones right here. So what we have to do right now is come down, for example, to M15, and let's see what's going on. Let's mark the structure, right? Very important structures right here. If we look at the structure, we had this high, and then we had this low. So price broke structure right there, boom, to the upside. Then we had this high, and then we had this low. So we can see price ended up breaking structure. We had a border closure. So what I'm looking for, in order for me to start to sell gold, I will have to wait for price to break this low right here. I want to see price breaking the low. That will be the first sign of bearish intention. The first sign that 4 hour is most likely to start doing a pullback. So once I have that change of character, I'm going to be looking for a supply zone, price to come back, and then I drop down to lower time frame and sell gold all the way down. Okay, so far, just looking at what's going on at the medium time frame, the structure is still bullish. So we can say, okay, this was the break of structure. Because we don't know if price is gonna start to pull back. We have to react to what the price is doing right now. So price just came into this demand zone. We're seeing the reaction now. So price broke structure, just came to a demand zone. We can look for buys, right? If you have that confirmation on the lower time frame to buy, you can buy gold, but just know that eventually price must start the pullback on the 4 hour, okay? So that's it, guys, about the outlook. I hope I made everything clear right here. I hope you guys have a fantastic month of September. I hope you guys continue to have a great month of September. I mean, we're just going all the way to the end of the year, so we still have time to crush this 2024. So if you're ready to also crush with us, my contact is on the description box below. Feel free to join the mentorship if you would love to have a support, good mentor over there. My contact is on the description box below, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Peace.